Good morning. I'll call the case of Jonathan Cash versus Pennsylvania Tube. Parties, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Justine Bailey for the claimant, Your Honor.
Harry Lafferty on behalf of Pennsylvania Tube and its insurance carrier.
Looks like there's a claim petition and a penalty petition filed by Attorney Bailey.
Yes, Your Honor.
At this time, I'd like to take exhibits.
Your Honor, we have the report of Dr. Michael Wright, Mr. Cash's treating surgeon.
Is this period more than 52 weeks?
Yes, it is.
Then we'll need to take depositions. Any
Okay.
objections to this report?
Hearsay, Judge.
That'll be not admitted at this point. Do you have any exhibits?
Yeah, I'd like the notice of denial to be marked for the record, please.
We'll mark this as Bureau Exhibit Number 1. Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor. Actually, it forms the basis of our penalty petition as the employer and its insurance company failed to issue Bureau documents within 21 days.
Oh, I'll make note of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready to proceed with testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll swear the witness. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Can you state your full name for the record?
Jonathan Cash. You can call me Johnny, though.
Okay, Johnny. Who's your employer?
Pennsylvania Tube.
How long have you been employed there?
Well, be about 8 years this December.
Oh. And did you sustain an injury at work on October 15, 2010?
I sure did.
And can you explain to the judge how that happened?
Sure. Well, Judge, I was working night shift and I was working alone. And, I guess what it boils down to, part of it anyways, is I was doing a job myself that two men should have been doing. What I was doing was I was taking lengths of pipe off the pile, carrying them a short distance, and then putting them on a conveyor belt. Now the conveyor belt hauled them off to a shipping department in some other part of the plant. Well, I got to this one length of pipe, and this pipe's not regular pipe. This pipe's about 20 feet long, weighs about 50 pounds apiece. Got to that length of pipe and I picked it up, and the way you have to, move my leg here and I'll show you. The way you have to pick the pipe up is you have to grip real hard onto the one end and you put the end furthest away from you. Remember, it's 20 feet long, down on the other end of the conveyor belt. Well, I picked a piece of pipe up, I'm putting it down on the conveyor belt like this. All of a sudden, as soon as I touched that end of that conveyor belt reversed. And it jerked, kicked that pipe back real hard, twisted me and twisted my lower back.
And Mr. Cash, can you describe what type of symptoms you had when you were first injured?
Well, initially, first thing that happened was I heard a pop in my lower back, and it was loud. Never had that happen before. Then I had lower back pain. It was pretty painful, but the real pain was going down my right leg, and I've never experienced pain like that before.
Did you give notice of your injury to your employer?
Oh yeah, I gave notice of injury to my employer. Hell, like everybody these days, they've got some kind of recording system. You call in, you get a recording. Well, I called in the Monday after, left a message, told them I injured my lower back lifting pipe at work on Friday.
And have you sought treatment for your injury?
Yeah, I sought treatment. The initial 90 days, if you want to call it treatment, was with Dr. Wong, the panel physician. After that, I saw my primary care physician and actually started getting some decent care. He sent me for an MRI. And I went to some physical therapy before that, I think. But anyways, after the MRI, I got sent to Dr. Wright. And Dr. Wright performed low back surgery on me, and now I'm in physical therapy again.
Okay. Mr. Cash, have you underwent any low back treatment to your low back prior to October 15th?
Absolutely not. I've never had a problem with my low back prior to this.
Does your doctor currently have you on restrictions for your work injury?
Yeah, Dr. Wright says that I can't work at all.
Have you been off work since your date of injury?
I've been off work ever since the date of injury. In fact, Dr. Wright says that he intends to keep me off work.
Are you receiving any income?
Just sick in accident, and I'm barely surviving on that.
And who's paying your bills?
That's a good question. I thought comp at first, but since I turned in my health insurance card, I've paid co-payments, I've paid deductibles, and I've got a bunch of unpaid bills that I turned over to you when we met.
Okay. And for the record, your deductible is about $1,500?
Yeah, it's $1,500.
Okay.
I actually have the check for that. I can get it to you.
Okay, we'll submit that later on. Mr. Cash, those are all the questions I have for you. Mr. Lafferty's probably going to ask you some.
Mr. Lafferty, it's your witness.
Mr. Cash, there were no witnesses to this alleged occurrence, were there?
You mind give me just a minute, Judge? My leg's really hurting here.
That's fine. You
I
can
gotta,
stand up if you need.
I gotta stretch it out. No, I think I'll be all right. I think all right. Don't want to pull a hammy sitting here.
What was the question you asked anyways?
There was nobody around when this allegedly happened, was there?
No, I was working alone, so there wasn't anybody around.
You're aware that your employer has a policy that requires you to report an injury immediately after it happens?
They have lots of policies. Yeah, I'm aware of it.
But you decided not to follow that policy when this allegedly happened, right?
I didn't decide to follow or not follow any policy. I was working. I thought this would go away. I thought it was just a pulled muscle or something. And another thing is I'm not a complainer. I mean, I've worked through pain before, so I thought I could just do it again. And also, I did tell the night foreman, but I don't remember his name. I've never met the guy before.
All right. You testified on direct examination that you've never had any prior low back treatment, correct?
That's correct.
You understand that you're under oath today, right?
Thank you for reminding me of that. That's helpful.
You've never had any prior chiropractic treatment to your low back prior to this injury?
Objection. It's been asked and answered, and quite frankly, he's harassing the witness.
It's cross-exam, we'll allow it.
I wouldn't have answered no to your last question if I had, would have I?
Very well, Mr. Cash. I believe you also indicated that this injury happened on a Friday, is that correct?
That's right.
What did you do that weekend?
Couldn't do anything. Stayed in bed the entire weekend, put ice on my lower back. That's about it.
So you stopped working on that home remodeling project that had been going on?
You know about that then, huh? Well, listen, I was doing home remodeling before this. The house is in disrepair. What can I say? I got a bunch of kids. But after this injury, I haven't been able to do any home remodeling. I haven't been able to do anything.
How about the basketball league that you participate in with your coworkers? You've been able to play those games, right?
Now, what does that have to do with this?
I'm asking the questions, Mr. Cash.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in a basketball league. And maybe I played basketball since this injury. But it was just once. And it was just to see if I could do anything. Try to loosen this up or something. But I had a lot of trouble. I couldn't play anyways.
All right. Those are all the questions I have, Judge.
We'll proceed then with depositions. Claimant, you'll take your deposition first. What are your plans, defense? Are you going to have an exam?
Judge, yeah, we're going to have the claimant examined by an IME doctor. We'll do that within the next 45 days.
And we'll expect your deposition then shortly thereafter.
Okay.
We'll proceed after those depositions are completed to a mandatory mediation, so be prepared for that. And at this point in time, proceed with your case as instructed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.